Sure. Okay, so we auto previously we discussed about two concepts, reflection and and now we have one other concept which is related to diffraction. So our next concept is related to diffraction. Okay, so basically diffraction is completely different from reflection and refraction, right? Okay, so basically in reflection we discuss a complete bounce back of waves, right? Either they are water waves, sound wave, or light waves. Okay, but in refraction there is a bending of waves from one medium to another when they are going to pass from one medium to another medium, right? And diffraction is something different. In diffraction process, we need to talk about the edges or the sharp edges of the obstacles, right? Let's suppose if we consider a water wave, and water waves are going to pass like this. So water waves are moving in forward direction, right? This is the direction of water waves. And let's suppose we are having a barrier, but the barrier is not a complete wooden bar. There is a gap between this, right?
Okay, so there's like a barrier. What's gonna happen?
Can you repeat again?
Okay, suppose there's like a barrier. What's going to happen?
Yes. So we already discussed different propagation of wave, and in this concept, there is a very a narrow slit for water waves or any other type of waves to pass through, right? And there are
Right.
sharp edges. So these are the sharp
Mm-hmm.
edges from which the waves are going to be reflect, right? So there
Right.
will be a different pattern, and there are two types of pattern. Let's suppose when slit is a very much narrow one, like in this situation we are having a very narrow slit, right?
Okay.
We are using the narrow slit. This is our first concept when slit is very much narrow. So the water waves coming out or any type of waves coming out from this slit will be like a like this.
Oh, all right.
Yes, because after reflecting from the edges, they will deflect in with a greater angle or different angles, right? So they will
Right.
like this. They will like expanding in different direction. And for the second concept, let's suppose if we are having same water waves moving in forward and we are having a slits having a greater gap. One barrier is placed over here, one barrier is placed over, right?
Right.
And water waves are moving in forward direction. Again, the same direction in forward are having a wider gap between the slits. Gap is
Oh,
now you observe that the distance between these two bars are greater than the previous one as compared to the first diagram, right? So now the pattern of the wave will also be different, right? So the pattern of the waves will be like a wind screen or screen like this, okay? Because the central part of waves are moving in a straight line. Only those waves that are reflected from the edges will move in this direction like this, and the other one move in the same direction, okay?
all right.
And if you want to write the basic definition of the diffraction, so the definition of diffraction is are passing. Okay, so when waves are passing through
So like each other or like a barrier?
This is a simple definition for diffraction. It is for both,
Oh.
right? It is not specific for first or second condition. It is a general definition.
Ah, okay. Noted.
Passing through narrow gaps or edges. So this concept is known as diffraction, right? So
Right.
there are many questions related to diffraction because it is a new term, because for reflection and refraction, we already studied many times, right? So when
Yes.
it is very much small, so you are getting a semicircle waves. And when the grade is greater, so you are like a wind screen shape, right?
Yes.
And one more thing, if they ask you about the wavelength, because sometimes they ask about the wavelength in the question. So for
Yes, that's what I've heard too. I want to know that.
you know about the wavelength.
Yeah.
Okay, so basically we discuss about the basic definition of wavelength, right? And we also discuss the change in wavelength in shallow and deep medium, right?
Yes.
But now this time we are having different situation because waves are expanding in different direction, right?
Yeah, they're always expanding in different directions.
Yes. So for the first diagram, we just simply write that wavelength will be greater than the gap between the barrier, right? So wavelength
Right.
will be greater, wavelength will be greater size. For the second diagram, we just simply write that is gap size, right?
Right. Like smaller than the wide gap side.
Yes, because now we are having a greater gap, so the distance, or this is our wavelength. So we are talking about two things, right? This is our gap, and from this situation we are getting wavelength from, and this is the gap, right? So that is the situation. Any confusion in that?
No, I get it.
Okay, so these are different type of concepts, okay, which is related to reflection, refraction, and diffraction. And we also discuss about basic terms like speed of wave, uh, time, etc, all the other things, right?
Right.
Okay.